All right. Pretty sure we're recording. So, today's video, small little video. I'm going to try to make it as short as possible. It is going to be on bookmaps. Basically how I read bookmaps, what to look for on bookmaps, shit like that. You feel me? All right, boom. So first things first. Probably the most asked question, what are the balls? What do the balls mean? What do the balls do? Let's talk about the balls. Boom. So first thing you need to understand is that the balls represent volume within the market. Now that basically means the amount of orders that are in the market right now. So if I were to scroll in at this ball right here, this red ball, you can see it says volume 262, bid 8. So what does that tell me? There are 262 orders at this price level, 5267.78, that are being sold. The number next to the bid is basically how many were kind of placed at the bid at the moment. Doesn't really matter, okay? So the number one thing that you need to look for is basically the size of the ball, the color of the ball, and the number next to the ball, okay? Now, you want to look out for an abnormal amount of volume. So like, let's say it's Asia session right now, so it's pretty dead. It's not moving much. If we were to randomly catch a 300, 400 volume ball, you could assume that, or not assume, we know that there are a lot of orders being thrown in the market at the moment, and that can lead the market to pump or dump in that direction. You know what I'm saying? Because during Tokyo, the average volume is like 10, which is fucking nothing. So if we have a big order of just 400 coming out of nowhere, that is going to move the market. That is pretty much the balls. The bigger the ball, the bigger the move. Green, that means it's buy volume. Red means sell volume. Pretty standard, right? I don't have to go too much into that, right? Right. So, next thing is your VWAP and POC. These are the yellow and purple lines you see on my chart on bookmaps. Basically, my POC is this yellow line. My VWAP is the purple line. What are these two things? What is POC? What is VWAP? VWAP is volume weighted average some shit. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know what VWAP is, but I will tell you how I play VWAP in a second. POC is point of control. Now what this means is during this current price action that we're seeing right here, our point of control is 58.60 or 52.68.25. My bad. What does that mean? Point of control is basically where buyers and sellers want price at. It's basically a magnet to price. If price was down or up at 52.70 and we had POC at 52.68, you could assume because of POC, price is going to magnetize and go towards 52.68. It's going to go towards that point of control. Why? Because buyers and sellers want price at point of control. You know what I'm saying? So, with this being said, let's say we are 20, 30 points up above POC and VWAP. You could assume that later within the day, we make a retracement back to POC and VWAP. So if we're quote unquote overextended or oversold or whatever the case might be, if VWAP and POC are below or above price like 20, 30 points, you could assume that eventually there will be a reversal within the market and we'll go back to POC. Why? I can't tell you why. It's just how point of control works. Now, if we do see a move 20, 30 points up, POC might update and POC will jump to price. And what does that tell us? We're going to see chop. If POC jumps 20, 30 points to the current bid, you could assume that, hey, we're going to chop here. There's a lot of volume here. That is what POC is. It's basically the most amount of volume within the market. What happens when there's a lot of volume? That's constant buyers and sellers going at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, let's say green team had 100 apples, red team had 100 apples, and they start throwing them at each other. Green team and red team start throwing these apples at each other. It's going to be a constant fight. You know what I'm saying? Throwing apples back to back to back. Why? Because they both have the same amount of apples. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I'm not gonna lie, that shit made no sense, bro. Not gonna lie, that shit made no sense. But you guys get the point. It's basically putting a 5 gram weight on a scale and putting a 5 gram weight on the other side of the scale. It's gonna balance out. It's not gonna move much until one of the other sides outweighs the other. If you add a 2-point weight on the sell side, we're going to see sells. So 2 million sells come in and buyers stay the same, you know, it's going to sell. Vice versa, right? VWAP, what I've noticed is whenever price is overextended and we come and touch VWAP, we typically tend to bounce. So that actually happened today during our shorts at 5280. Excuse me. So we shorted 5280. VWAP was at 5274. If you go back to the chart, you can see we tapped 5274 and we bounced. So that is how I play VWAP. I kind of use it as a, how do I say it? Kind of like a bounce spot or a good place to take profit, basically. If we're up, you know, a certain amount of points, VWAP is coming up, we touch VWAP, we could see a bounce. You know what I'm saying? That's how I play VWAP. But yeah, that's pretty much that. I'll go down to this little thing right here. CVD, that is a cumulative fucking volume delta. Some shit like that. It's basically the overall volume within the market. You can see that it's a red right now, so you could assume that we see downtrend. If it's green, you could assume we see uptrend. You know what I'm saying? If it flips from green to red, hey, reversal. Hey, downtrend. Whatever. You get that. Boom. Pretty simple. Moving on. Let's go over here to this right where it says COB and you see all these numbers over here. You see 5269, you see 102, 5265, you see 80. What do they mean? What do the numbers mean? Now, obviously, 5268, that is the price of the stock. We're looking at ES, so this is all of ES's price on the right side. What is the number next to it? So, these are resting orders. Now, you could assume that these are quote-unquote limit orders. That's what they are to my understanding. So, at 5269, there are 103 limit orders. At 5266, there are 69 limit orders. You know what I'm saying? These are orders within the market. This is level 2 data displayed to look nice. You know what I'm saying? That is what bookmaps is. It's just level 2 data. Now, boom, we got that out the way. It's probably the most simple thing about the actual bookmaps, you know what I'm saying, interface, is understanding what those numbers mean. Now let's talk about the colors. Let's talk about the red. Let's talk about the yellow. Let's talk about the white. Let's talk about the blue. Blah, blah, blah. All right, we're going to zoom out. We're going to zoom out. We see a bigger representation of bookmaps. So let's go over the most important part first. what does the red line mean? What does the red shit down here mean? That is basically showing there is a lot of fucking orders there. And you can see up here, this is how you calculate the amount of orders within the market. You see it's red, kind of dark orange, yellow, white, blue. You know what I'm saying? The darker the color, the more orders there are. And you can see it lines up with the number we were just talking about. Big red, 564. It's a lot of fucking orders. You know what I'm saying? Kind of a dark orange, 140. Okay. That is basically saying there's a lot of liquidity here. There are a lot of orders here. Whenever price taps this liquidity, taps these orders, expect to see a big move, expect to see a move, etc. Now, this could either mean we bounce, we knife through. Sometimes we do nothing. Sometimes we grab these passive orders and they're quote unquote absorbed. And what that means is basically, okay, so for every buy, there's a sell. For every sell, there's a buy. Actually, I'll leave that for later. Basically, right now, what you have to worry about is the darker the color, the more orders there are within the market, the bigger the impact of a move you'll see based off of that. You know what I'm saying? So let's dive into the next topic, which is how do I know when to sell? How do I know when to buy? Blah, blah, blah. So let's talk about it. Anything below the bid, anything below the current price is quoted as a buy order. Okay? So these orders down here at 52.60, these are buy limit orders. Okay? These orders down here at 52.32, these are buy orders. These orders at 52.25, these are buys. 27, these are buys. 35, these are buys. 15, these are buys. 5200, these are buys. So, what does that mean? For example, right now, when we come and tap 5260, you could see what's called a liquidity bounce. We grab this liquidity, and since these are buys orders because they are below the bid, you could assume that price will bounce up and we'll have an uptrend. You know what I'm saying? So going back to what we were saying about POC and VWAP, we come out to this 5260 orders, tap it, grab the liquidity, come back up to 68 where VWAP and POC are. That's a good place to take profit because we might see a bounce back down. We could bounce above VWAP and POC. You never know. Boom. That's pretty much what it is. So I'll just talk about the same thing. Anything above the bid are sell orders. So you could assume 5280 is a good place to go short. 5285 is a good place to go short. 5300 is a really good spot to go short. Why? It's a psych level. There's orders there. And excuse me. If you were to go back on your chart and look at 5300, see how we play it around that area, you can see that it is kind of a make or break area for the market. You know what I'm saying? If we close above 5300, we'll see uptrend. If we close below, we'll see downtrend. Boom. 5300 is the biggest spot right now. I don't care about these orders at 32 or 15. 5300 is the spot right now. It's the most important price point on ES right now. Don't care what anyone else says. Okay. Boom. I'm gonna be honest, that's as simple as I could keep it. That is how I look at bookmaps. That's how I read bookmaps. That's how I play off of it. I guess I'll do a visual representation of what it would look like on the chart. Okay. So we're on the chart. We will go to a clean chart just to make it easier for the eyes. Okay. Whoops. Okay. We'll go on our 15-minute time frame. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. 5260 and 5232. We are going to map these both out on our chart. 5260, 5232. Now, what we were talking about earlier, since this is below price, these are going to be buy orders. So this is going to be used as support. Okay. 5260 and 5232, you can assume are support points within the market. Why? Because of orders. People want to buy there. You know what I'm saying? So boom, let's bring out Mr. Squiggly over here. Price comes up to 52.74. Now this is all hypothetical. Do not, you know what I'm saying? Don't take a trade based off what I'm saying right now. We come up to 52.74 or even 52.80, whatever you want to do. Okay. However you want to hypothetically put this into, you know, perspective, whatever. Boom. We tap 52.80. We sell off. We come and tap 52.60. Now on the actual chart, not much is going on here. It's pretty boring, pretty much no man's land. Why? Because of FOMC, because of this big sell-off we had. This is also a low volume node. Why? There's not a lot of chop. There's not a lot of orders being sold and bought here. So this is an area of low volume. And I will prove that to you right now. Blah, blah, blah. Yay, low volume. Very easy. Okay, you could assume that there's a low volume node just by looking at price. There's not a lot of orders, not a lot of chop. You could assume that's a low volume node, okay? But anyways, back to the actual topic of discussion. We come up here at tap 52.80, we sell off, come to 52.60. Now, once price taps 52.60, it won't be an immediate, clean, perfect, nitty-gritty bounce. Okay, we will probably come to somewhere like 52.28 or 52.58, sorry, and then we'll have a wick. And why is that? Because of liquidity. It is so strong. There are so many orders being bought and sold at this area. It's not going to be to the tick every single time when it's liquidity. So yeah, you might see a point down, you might see 2 points, you might see 4 points. But as long as it's within, you know, I would say a 4 or 5 point, I think 5 points is stretching it a little bit, but a 4 point range within liquidity, depending on how many orders there are. That's what I call a liquidity grab in my book, just me personally, okay? Boom. So we come up, tap 52.60, drop like 1 or 2 points, then we come back up and we go back test something like, I don't know, fucking 74. Boom. That is how I would play 52.60. I would be watching bookmaps, be watching the chart, see what happens at 52.60 if we sell off, like I mean sell off. And what I mean by that is like we tap 52.60 and we go see like 53 within the same 10-minute candle or something. That is absorption, okay? If we tap 52.60, our 10-minute wicks, we come back up on the next 10-minute, that is a liquidity grab. So boom. Pretty fucking simple. Yes or no? Yes? Cool. Example number 2. 3 hour. I'm gonna see if I could pull up the shit from today. Okay. Nope, I need to add one more. My bad. Should have been prepared. I'm winging the video, by the way, so sorry if I repeat a lot, whatever. Okay, boom. Perfect. This is manyan. This is manyan. This is manyan. Okay. Let's take absorption off because I don't want to scare you guys. We'll take that off really quick. 5280. Okay. 5280. Let's talk about it really quick. This is the original sell-off from 5280. Now you can see we have this wall of orders here at 5280. What does that tell me? 5280 is going to be an area of struggle. There's going to be a point of resistance. This is a good spot to look for shorts, not too short. Why? Because this is only one confluence. Okay. I had 4 confluences. I had volume analysis. Buying volume was declining. Sellers are picking up. Number 1. Number 2, we had a key psych level, 5280. I had that level mapped out before we touched those highs above 5230 because of FOMC, and I knew we were going to see higher. So I put 5280 as the psych level. It worked out. Key level. That's 2 confluences. Number 3, bookmaps, order flow. A lot of red orders, 1 to 4 points within this key level. That tells me it is a brick wall. You know what I'm saying? It is like trying to drive 100 miles into a wall expecting to go through it. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? That's 3. What else did I have? I had the 30-minute and the 45-minute 200 EMA lined up with 79 and 80. Okay, that is 4 confluences. That is a good trade. So boom, 5280. Like I said, let's talk about it. Bow. Now you can see this isn't when we tapped it, is it? It is. Yeah. Okay. Boom. You can see that these orders up here at 5280 themselves were grabbed. And what happened? Like I said, it's not going to be to the tick. It's not going to be perfect. We grabbed it and we had a little bounce up. What did we see? 5275. That is liquidity working. Now, we did not go higher. We didn't go 5281. We didn't go 5282. We started to see downside. That is what I like to see. Okay. So boom, I got in shorts, 5279. Really easy. We had this big wall of resistance here. And what was I talking about earlier? VWAP. What happened? We tapped VWAP pretty much down here. Okay. Tap VWAP. Boom. Bounce back up 10 points. Hey, man. I don't cap. I don't lie. I don't lie, man. I don't fucking lie. You know what I'm saying? Now, yeah, there are moments where we do break VWAP. And that is just... You know, shit happens. It's not perfect every time. But yeah, that is a live example of bookmaps, how I used it, blah, blah, blah. This video is too long. Bye.